what your full name is, please?
William Johnson Colling.
And when were you born?
27th of the 10th, 25.
In Filey?
In Filey, I think.
Whereabouts?
Queen Street.
In Queen Street. Can you tell me about your parents? Who they were and what they did?
Father was a skipper of a keel boat. The government took his boat and he took another boat, another one, an old one from Grimsby. He took that one and he got a crew, because all his crew had to go in Navy, like. There was some was reservists and that, and then on the, I think it was the 16th of October 1940, they were all blown to pieces with a mine.
Whereabouts? Was that off
Scarborough.
Yeah, Scarborough.
Just leaving harbour at morning. All boats had gone and he was just going. Somebody had been late and got blown up there.
Going back to before your parents, were your grandparents, were they from Filey as well?
Yes.
Were they fishing people as well?
Yes.
Do you remember what they were called?
Yes.
Yeah.
John William Sayers, Elizabeth Sayers.
And whereabouts did
And
they live?
her name before she was married was Kappelman.
And where did they live? Did they live on Queen Street?
They lived on Queen Street, that's where I was born, at their house.
At their house?
Well, it was our house.
Yeah.
My father's house.
Right.
And my father was going to move to... I was born before they come here, I think. And then they come from Chesterfield, because they had to go to Chesterfield during war. Not on the auditions, but they went to Staveley Coal and Iron Works. And as they all come back, fishermen come back from there, they weren't allowed to go off here, you see. And they all come back from there. We had to move to Scarborough because my father got this bigger boat, and which was called a 5-stone at the time. And he sold him the house.
Right.
Sold him half the house for a start.
Yeah.
And then 1930 odd again, he sold him the other half.
Do you know much about your family history going back before your grandparents?
How far back?
As far back as you know, really.
My other grandparents was on here, lived on here. The Colling side of my family lived on here. Ben Colling, they called him. He was a drifter skipper.
Going out from Scarborough?
Went up from Scarborough, yeah. And his wife was a Johnson. That's where I get my name, William Johnson Colling.
Still kept that?
Because it was my dad's name, you see.
Right. Do you think your family on both sides have always been from Filey, or do you think earlier in the history they came from another area? Maybe
They come from another area,
yeah.
right? Come from Scotland.
Did they?
Just from Scotland. A little place next door to Berwick. I've forgotten what to call it. I can't tell you because I can never.
From near Berwick.
It's practically in Berwick.
Right.
You go down
So
either a steep hill or some steps or something to get down to harbour. They've lifted. They've made it bigger now. And I think they come down south after that great storm sometime, about 1870 odd. They come to Filey, and with the mother was a widow.
So they were from a fishing community up there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, right.
They were all fishermen. They come down here to Filey. There was 3 lads and a mother and another girl called MacDonald, but we've never been able to fit her in anywhere. One went back to no, is it Tintymouth? No. Might be Airmouth, I don't know. I can't think of the name of it now. Next time I get the name, I'm going to write it on somewhere, and I don't know all the time.
Tell Eric, yeah.
A lot of people's asked me this. The first one went back to Berwick to buy fish. They'd been buying fish all the time, like, and he went back. He didn't stop in Filey. Now the second one was the youngest, and he went to train horses at Pontefract. And them two lads, one who trained the Derby winner and the other that was one of the top trainers, they're both top trainers like, George Colling and R.J. Colling, they were from our family.
Wow.
I saw R.J. Colling at York once, racing, and he's bloody spit of our family.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
So you could tell.
But we lost touch with him when he went there to there, he never come back.
No.
But we knew he'd gone to there, and maybe wrote, I don't know, but I lost count of them. And my great-grandfather was the one that went fishing. So he went fishing.
What was he called, do you know?
They call him George. George Colling.
Did he have a nickname?
No, I
Right.
don't think he had a nickname. Nobody's mentioned his nickname.
Right.
Right. Probably had, like. I'd probably give him one when he got ready, he could get one.
So your family originated just in Scotland, near Berwick, and then they've come down, some have settled here and some have gone elsewhere, but your great-grandfather started the fishing here.
Started fishing here.
Right.
And he had 6 lads, I think. I'm not going to be certain on this because I might be getting mixed up with my own grandfather who had 6 lads and 4 lasses. But he had a nice few lads, just to spread all around this area. And in fact there's one lot there, one lass, she had about 10. And they've all died in no time. But still the family from them, they call them hunters.
Hunters.
She was a Colling, you see.
Yeah.
And they've all gone. A lot went back to Scarborough again. A lot went to Scarborough, to fish, because they're in bigger boats. They married Scarborough girls and that, and lasses wanted to be at Scarborough. So.
What about your grandfather? What type of boat did he have, do you know?
Well, in them days he'd have a yawl, I suppose.
Yeah.
He come in a boat. He come here in a boat.
From Scotland?
From there, yes. And probably he probably fished in that if he.
Why come to Filey?
When I come to Filey,
Yeah.
well, they used to come down here and land on the beach. There used to be a lot of boats land on the beach to deliver coal.
Yeah.
They fetch coal to Filey,
Yeah.
and probably going south, and it seen these boats there, maybe pushed ashore.
Yeah. They land on the beach and decide it's a nice place to stay. We can fish from here.
Then he'd probably take it back to Scarborough, you see, put it in at Scarborough. When he got into Filey and found out how good a place it was.
Yeah.
What are some of your earliest memories from when you were a child in Filey?
I was a child in Filey. Well, I lived at Scarborough from being 2,
Did you?
but I used to come here every holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Summer holidays for 6 weeks, Christmas holidays for 2 weeks, Easter holidays for 2 weeks. I always wanted to be here. Come here.
Staying with grandparents and that, yeah.
Stay with my granny and granddad. My granddad was killed with a cobble when I was 14. Just before my father was killed. Year before my father was killed.
What was the name of the cobble? Do you know?
They killed him.
Mm.
Well, it was running down one morning it was a rainy fair morning, you know, rain, and it was dark, and he was walking up the sand, and this boat come down it, and they had rubber wheels on. First one they had rubber wheels on. They couldn't hear it.
Okay.
And he was killed when it hit him. The wheel hit him.
Ah, yeah. They had rubber tyres instead of the cart wheels with iron tyres.
They iron bands on. They put these rubber things on, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they didn't had them before, you see.
Yeah, they won't be used to them.
And no, he didn't ever heard it, and it killed him straight out.
When you came on your holidays, did you get involved with any of the fishing activities? Did you go out at all? Did you help with anything? No.
Well, when I used to come on holiday in winter, in summer, there was no fishing then. Some used to go crabbing, but the majority went spawing, what we call spawing, taking passengers out.
Oh, right.
My grandfather used to do that. He had a sailing cobble. In them days there were nearly all sailing cobbles. There was only about 2 or 3 motor cobbles when I was a lad. And when I first come here, and
So you go from Cobble Landing and take people out, paying passengers.
from Cobble Landing, from Bridge Hall, them 2 places, take people out from there. Some had their own lord, what they call lords.
Right.
What exactly was a lord? What was he?
What was a lord?
Yeah.
Well, if my grandfather Ellerman will say that every time he come, he went with him.
Yeah.
Nobody knew whether he had any money or out like that, or what he was or what he weren't. But he used to say, oh, that's Jack's lord, that.
Yeah.
Didn't you ask him, like? They all them stood there talking. It's Jack's lord, that. And he'd come down and pick up my grandfather, and I used to go with him.
But some of these lords, of course, would be wealthy people, wouldn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, like people from the industrial towns.
Yeah. Some was from old trawler men. Trawler owners.
Were they?
Yeah, some of them. Used to come down here.
Bit of a holiday, bit of sport.
Holiday.
I was going to ask a question and I forgot what it was. Can you remember Billy Gwynn? Was it Billy Gwynn?
Yeah.
So when did he come? Did he come after the engines?
After the engines.
After they started putting engines into the sailing cobbles?
Well, I don't think they put many engines in sailing cobbles.
What, did they build a brand new cobble?
I think so.
It was designed especially for an engine? Yeah. Did you know Billy Gwynn?
Yeah, of course I did.
Oh, what can you tell us about him? What was his workshop like?
Well, it's
His engineering workshop.
eh?
You'll tell us about him in your own words.
Well, all I know about him went during war when it was bad weather and timber was washing ashore and stuff like that. We used to take it to him and he used to buy it and flog it on. Used to buy all timber, get all timber off us and
Yeah.
so we done. I was only a lad then before I went in the Navy. And he used to buy all our timber off us. There was no timber to get, you see, in them days.
Yeah, they used to salvage every bit they could get.
Yeah, and they used to buy it all good stuff. I was coming up there with my mate once, and we pulled this big log, this big block of wood from High Brig. It was on High Brig when we found it. We got it into water and towed it round, pulled it round. And when we got to Arndale, we were supposed to be sharing, like my mate says, I found two packets of cigs, two tins of cigarettes, 50 cigarettes. He says, "You can have one," he says, I'll keep cigs. I says, "We're supposed to be sharing." He says, but I'll keep cigs," he says. And away I went with cigs up into Billy Gwyn's to open up to see what they were, see what was in them. And I towed this big log onto the bottom of Cobble Landing, got a barrow and fetched it up Cobble Landing to Billy Gwyn's, and I got 10 bob for it, like, which was a lot of money nowadays. Yeah, 10 bob. And when he opened his cigs, they were all full of water. He says, "Cigs are no good." He says, "We'll let you share it." Look, I says, "We're sharing none of this." Yeah.
Don't blame me. So you went to school at Scarborough, did you?
I went to the sea training school at Scarborough.
And you'd already decided you wanted a life at sea, or fishing, or what you thought about doing when you were younger?
I was only was one job, fishing. And I think, when I was at Scarborough, I used to look after a boat every summer. Except them 6 weeks, if I could get away with it to Filey, them 6 weeks, that's when I used to look after a boat. That was my first, what do you call it?
Job, sort of thing.
I first sort of job when I was only maybe 7 or 8 years old, where I used to put anchor up and row her ashore while bloke got people in. And if you got 7 in, that was as much as you could carry with one man. I used to get out, but if we only had 6 in, I could go around off with him. And I was doing that. I used to get about one summer I got 3 or 4 shillings a day, which is a lot of money.
A lot of money, yeah. Oh, yeah.
3 or 4 shillings a day, because you used to get 6pence for every job you got.
Yeah.
And we get maybe 12 jobs, 8 jobs in a day. Small and slight, small jobs, but they were all payable, because you'd get, if you just took them for a row, you'd get a shilling a piece off of you, so if you're 7. And they used to give me 3 bob or 4 bob or 3 and a tenner, you know, whatever he got. And